Welcome to the Morale Booster Network, a platform for entrepreneurs, career professionals, leaders, and the general public to give back to the society through coaching and mentoring. I remain your host, Dr. John Ugulu. I am an author, speaker, and strategist. I always say experience is the best teacher. You can stream or download this podcast from YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Player FM, and Pandora. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to the Morale Booster Podcast. I am Dr. John Ugulu, your host. In this season of From Idea to Impact, we will dive deep into the creative process of an entrepreneur. And in this episode, we are thrilled to welcome our guest, Rachell Dumas. She is a registered nurse, a maternal health advocate, and founder of A Light After 9, which of course is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting families after pregnancy loss and fertility journeys. Inspired by her personal journey through 9 pregnancy losses and the eventual birth of her miracle son, she now offers compassionate resources, community, and resilience strategies for others who are navigating similar challenges. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome our entrepreneur for the year. I'll give her that because she's doing an amazing job. No other person but Rachell Dumas. Rachell, welcome to the Morale Booster Podcast.
Thanks for having me, John. I'm so happy to be here, and that was a very amazing introduction that you had.
You are an amazing person, so you deserve even more
Thank you.
because
I appreciate it.
you're welcome. You're doing a great work, doing a
Thank you.
great job. And the fact that you've been able to turn your test into your testimony, that says a whole lot about you. I
Oh, thank
appreciate you.
you.
On behalf of the Morale Booster community, we appreciate you and all you do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Welcome. You've been through a lot and it doesn't even show on your face. So
I hope not. I
yes,
have
tell
a
us what that
skincare
secret
routine.
is.
Thank you. I have a skincare routine, so hopefully it covers up some of the struggle.
Oh, no. I don't think there's any type of facial routine that can cover that. There should be an inner strength
Yeah.
that supersedes all that. And
Yeah.
look, 9 pregnancy loss.
Yeah. 9.
Tell us who is Rachell? Who's behind Rachell? Who's behind her strength? And what's we need to learn?
Yeah. So it was a rough journey, which started in 2018, actually. I had my first positive pregnancy test, went to the OBGYN, and he said, "You're having a miscarriage, but it's a normal part of pregnancy, and you will go on to have a baby and to not worry about it," which is so ironic considering my story, right? So fast forward to 2020, I went to New York. I was a travel nurse. I worked on the COVID ICU during the pandemic. And when I got sick and had to come home from my assignment early, I also found out that I was pregnant as well. But this time I was pregnant with twins. So scared, but excited. I went about my pregnancy, but I had complications that caused me to go in and out of the OBGYN's office almost every week, if not twice a week. I ended up losing one twin. And once that twin was lost, all my symptoms went away. I was feeling good. And then my friends decided to throw me a gender reveal. And during that reveal, or an hour before the reveal, I went to the bathroom and the baby fell out. So it just really was like the official commencement of a very traumatic pregnancy journey at that point. I went to the OBGYN and she diagnosed me with which what is called cervical insufficiency, which is at the end of your uterus is the cervix, and it has to stay tight for the baby to bear its weight on top of it. When you give birth, it opens up, and then the baby comes out at the end of your pregnancy. But my cervix was weak, so once the baby got heavy enough, which was typically around the second trimester, it will fall out, or he or she will fall out. So after that, she was like, if you get pregnant again and we make it to the second trimester, we're going to have a surgery called a transvaginal cerclage. So we have this cervix and we'll put a suture around it to keep it closed throughout the pregnancy. And you're going to have a seamless pregnancy. So I had another miscarriage, and then another miscarriage early. So here we are, 2021, April. I found out I was pregnant. I made it to the second trimester and I made it to the OR to get the transabdominal cerclage placed. I then had an appointment at 20 weeks. I had the cerclage placed at 13. And at the 20-week appointment, despite of the doctor saying you would be in excruciating pain if this cerclage failed, I went into the appointment very optimistic. I was feeling good. And then the doctor came in and said, your cerclage failed. You can go and give birth to the baby. I said, when the baby passed? And she said, yeah, but we can't do anything else for you. So I decided to fight for that child. And I had all of my friends, my village, look for doctors who would place a second cerclage called a abdominal cerclage higher than the transvaginal cerclage during pregnancy, which is very hard to find. I could not find a doctor practicing to do that in Atlanta. So we found one in Dallas. I called him. He said, fly to Dallas. We'll do it right away. And I flew to Dallas that night. That day, he rolled me back to the OR. He said it'll take about 3 hours to get the transabdominal cerclage in there. It took 8 hours. But when I came out, I was surrounded by healthcare providers and workers cheering me on, saying, we're still pregnant. We survived the surgery. Everything's well. Unfortunately, when the anesthesia wore off, I went into labor. And they gave me so many different medications to try to stop it. But I labored for 30 hours. And then my water broke. And then I had to go back to the OR and get both of the sutures out. And I had to deliver that baby who did not survive. At that point, I was very depressed. I had PTSD. And it was just a very hard time. But I really had something in me saying, I want to have this baby. And I kept pushing. That same doctor in Dallas promised me that if that was to happen, that we would lose that baby, he would fly me out and he would put the cerclage back in while I wasn't pregnant. And then you'll be able to get pregnant again and carry that baby. So true to his word, that November, he flew me out. I went to the hospital, got the surgery. I had early miscarriages, 2 early miscarriages after that. But May 2022, I found I was pregnant. I made it through the first trimester. I made it through the second. I made it through the third. And on 12/30/2022, I had my son, Nazir, finally, after 9 losses.
Wow. Wow. God is good.
God is
You
good.
know, God is good.
Yeah.
They say sometimes we make plans, but God will surely ensure that His own plans is what
Yep.
works for us.
Yep.
And I know all that happened to you because God has, or rather, had a greater calling on
Right.
your life than you could even imagine. And I know so many people who gone through this. I know
Mm-hmm.
of a lady who was in the UK some time ago. It happened to her for years,
Yeah.
and eventually she had a baby. But they say the grace of God is always sufficient.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had your miracle baby. And
Yeah.
how old is he now?
He will be 2 next month.
Wow, he's doing well, right?
He is doing well. He is fat, chubby, runs around, screams, very healthy, very smart, and just literally a bundle of joy. I'm so
Oh,
happy I
that's
stuck
great.
with that journey, despite of how difficult it was.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank God. To God alone be all the glory. They say
Amen.
it's not by our power, neither is it by our might. but by the Spirit, says the
Yeah.
Lord. There's nothing impossible for God to do.
Nothing.
And and
Clearly
and,
not.
and yes, and you are one testimony, one big testimony, right?
A big testimony. I should not
And
be here. I would say that, but I am.
yes, yes, and you're not just here as an ordinary person. You are here as an extraordinary person because you are now giving back, and that's what matters. So
Mhm.
tell us about your mission, what you do currently, and how things are going with your nonprofit.
Absolutely. So I stepped away from the bedside in 2020 to start my first business called Onward Healthcare, where I help outpatient surgery centers and clinics and smaller healthcare companies with compliance. And when I got pregnant, I definitely couldn't go back to the bedside because I kept miscarrying what I would try. So I started working from home, but because of my pregnancy journey and all of the issues I had, both physically, with access, with failed surgeries, and just so many other issues that I had, lack of advocacy and lack of treatment, delayed treatment. I really wanted to create something after I healed. I wanted to create something meaningful that will also help me heal even further to help others who are going through similar issues to not have anywhere as many miscarriages and stillbirths as I did, and just to give back because there was so many times that I needed advocacy and resources, and it was so hard to find them during that time of trauma, which was my pregnancy journey. So because of that, I created a light after nine. I named it that because my son is truly a light after nine losses. And we do so much. We advocate for maternal health. We make sure we provide our moms and families and birthers with resources such as mental health resources. If you need assistance finding a doctor, especially specialists that can be tailored to your pregnancy journey or fertility journey, which I definitely needed special doctors to help me get to this point. We also provide grants and grant resources because this journey is very expensive. It's so expensive. And the medical bills have lasted longer than the pregnancy journey, unfortunately. And that's the case for many people who are going through this journey. And then we also advocate and we speak out on mental health issues that are going on by going to different conferences and podcasts and media resources because we are in the midst of a maternal health crisis and we need to approach it very differently than we are.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And that's a great business you are involved with. And how's it uh, turn out? How are people receiving the idea of you setting up such an investment or business venture?
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey since I started this business. The nursing world is so receptive. Media is so receptive of my story and what I'm doing. Patients, people, birthers are so grateful, so receptive of our services that we provide. The outreach is amazing. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do this. It's a very amazing way to heal through after the journey that I just had. But it's definitely needed. And I didn't know how much it was needed until I went through this journey myself. And like you said, God puts us through these things and we're like questioning why are we going through this during the journey. But now I'm seeing why, because I wouldn't have built this momentum to start this business. I wouldn't have the education and the experience to be able to give back. And I wouldn't be helping the people who needs to be helped.
Yes, and you are doing so well.
Thank
Like
you
I
so
said,
much.
we appreciate all you do. And the business has been running for how long now? 1 year?
I just know it's very early. I just started my business in August, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Which is
in
good.
August.
Which
Yeah,
is good. So same time next year we will be celebrating 1 year. And
yeah, we
yeah,
will be
right?
celebrating. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Good to know. And now to people who are going through um, similar challenges, going through the same challenges you have been through that are
Mhm.
listening to us right now, what advice would you give to them on
One, I
how
want to
on how to navigate those challenges?
one, I want to say that you're not alone, and that there are other people outside of me who have been through this journey. Maybe not as many miscarriages. This is quite a bit, but one miscarriage in nine, you can feel the same way. You can't tell people, how to feel based off the amount of miscarriages. It should be no miscarriages. But in order to get resources, I know during those traumatic times of loss, it's hard to even think about what you need, let alone do research to find out, what is out there. So please reach out to us. We are a la carte, but we are also a comprehensive package of everything that you would need along this journey. Let us do the work for you. Because when you're in the midst of loss and possible loss and fertility journeys and all these things that you have to take care of physically, the last thing you want to do is worry about how can I find a therapist? How can I find another specialist? How can I pay for this? It's an additional burden that you don't have to go, carry on your own. So please reach out to Light After Nine. We also are partnered with other organizations and are working to expand that partnership so that if we can't provide a service or we don't have it, we know another organization does, because it's truly a group effort and a village effort to combat these maternal health issues.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing. And to everyone who's listening to us right now, please remember to like and share this broadcast. And here's the reason why. You might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. Now, what Rachell has gone through in life, there might be somebody out there who thinks or who's thinking that she's the only person that such a thing is happening to. And, she might just need to hear this message and get some hope, right? Like and share it, because you might just be saving the life of that one person. And take it as your charitable work for today. It is free to share the broadcast. Just share it. You never can tell. So thank you so much. We are still live with Rachell. Rachell,
Yes,
you were a bedside nurse,
I was.
and it's, to so many women and men, majorly women, that's a dream come true, you know going through nursing school, becoming a nurse, making all the money, and all that. And at some point you chose to transition from nursing, from being a bedside nurse to what you do now. How challenging was that for you? In fact, how was the decision making process a tough one for you?
Yeah, so I transitioned away from the bedside in 2020 amidst the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. I got sick while in New York, and I was scared for my life, honestly, because there was so much unknown about COVID. And it was between that period and the period in which I officially commenced my pregnancy journey that I realized, I can't stay at the bedside if I want to deliver a child. I thought the load of being at the bedside was also causing miscarriages because of my physical issue that I had. So that transition was kind of a no-brainer for me at the time. Now, to transition into entrepreneurship, it was an idea that I got from a business mentor that I had who had several healthcare businesses and worked at several hospitals and was an executive. He saw something in me that he felt he had in himself when he started his businesses, which was drive and motivation. So I have an infectious control background, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was so many recommendations coming from CDC, World Health Organization, DPH, all of these governing bodies, and healthcare facilities had trouble keeping up with what the next recommendation was. So I made a business to keep up with all those things and take the guesswork out of it and help other healthcare companies and facilities stay compliant with COVID-19 measures. So it was a lot of work, but I enjoyed it and I felt like it was meaningful. So I was able to transition into entrepreneurship pretty seamlessly. I got a lot of media coverage during that time because of what I was doing and traveling in New York as well. So it was not easy. There was hard work, but it was very organic for me to transition away from the bedside.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's so many nurses. I have a lot of nurses in my circle.
Did you, you love
Yeah,
nurses, huh?
a lot of them. In fact, my mom was a nurse,
Oh, wow.
first of all, so so she was a nurse, and for a long, 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 long time,
Yeah.
probably like 3 decades before there was a change in government, and she was
Hmm.
working with the government, and for some reason they decided to follow some people, to
Okay.
get rid of as many nurses as possible because they were going through some financial economic restructuring. So
Yeah.
they had to let many go. And my mom was one of those. Uh, so she was lucky she had a husband who immediately set up a business for her. And that was the
Okay.
business she did till she retired. So my dad set up a hotel for her. So she owned a hotel and
Wow.
ran the hotel till she retired.
That's a big change
And
from healthcare. Well,
yes.
hospitality is very, it's close. Hospitality still. We
Mm,
practice hospitality in,
it's the
as a
same.
nurse.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was easier for her. So that's why we say things don't happen to us, but instead things happen for us.
Right.
And why do things happen for us? To be stronger, wiser, and better.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah, so I have a lot of nurses. My older sister is a nurse right now, a lot of them. And many of them complain about the burnout
Yes. Yeah.
from the bedside, being a
Hmm.
bedside nurse. Now, are there other opportunities out there for nurses
Absolutely. So,
that do not have as much burnout as the bedside?
yeah, absolutely. So there are so many, you can be so many different types of nurses. It's so many jobs out there that's not at the bedside. And I believe, particularly when COVID-19 happened, the pandemic started, we experienced a burnout like no other. All you heard was how nurses are saving everybody. And we were, but it was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was,
Sorry to interrupt you. When I
yeah.
heard you said you were in New York during the
Hmm.
COVID, I was like, oh, she made a killing, right? She made so much money.
I did, but I will say, John, it was not worth it. And I tell everybody that the toll that it took on my mental health. So just some context, I worked at Grady Trauma ICU. I thought I saw
Wow.
everything, Grady.
Wow.
I thought I
Yes.
saw, this is a state hospital, level 1 trauma.
Mm,
I was like, I could do New York, I'm already working ICU. I might as well go make extra money doing what I'm already going to do here. So that's
yeah.
what prompted me to leave and go help out in New York. But there was nothing that could prepare me for that experience. It was so much death. And there was nothing that we could do to stop it. There were treatments being tried, but there was nothing at that time to say this is the definitive treatment. And it was so much death, and families couldn't come and be with their family members. They were watching them die on iPads, and the burnout was not just physical. I was working 16-hour shifts like 5 days a week, but it was also mental and emotional. I just didn't have it in me to give anymore either. And I knew like I needed a break from the bedside as well. So there's so
So
much you
that
can do.
was that was what triggered your easy transitioning, right?
Yeah, the easy transition. It did. And I miss it every now and then, right? Like I miss the feeling of I'm saving a life like directly. Now I'm more indirectly and sometimes directly saving a life as well. So there are so many different specialties that you could get into, and they don't tell us about this when we're in nursing school. You don't really hear about it much until grad school. part of nursing. So I am also finishing my master's in nursing informatics now, and I will be starting my doctorate hopefully next fall with nursing informatics.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I just have clinical stuff. So I started that in 2017, my master's, but my pregnancy journey stopped that, and I had to. I just started back last year and finished, and I'm finishing it. But nursing informatics is one of those specialties that's in its infancy, but we need it so much. It's the cross between clinical and information technology. We can't even perform our duties without technology. That is one of the specialties where you could work at home most of the times, but you can also work in a hospital, but it's away from the bedside. There's education. There's um, I can't even name all the specialties. There's case management, virtual case management, and there's utilization management nurses, triage, telehealth is a big thing now, and you can be a telehealth nurse. There are so many ways that you can stay within a profession and not experience that bedside burnout. Because when COVID hit, we were like, oh, we got to get away from nursing, period, completely. But you don't have to do that. You can still be a nurse and just transition to a different type of role and still get that fulfillment.
That's correct. I that resonates with me. And
Yeah.
now, we talked about making money during the New York,
Yeah.
during the pandemic, going to New York. Outside of the money, I would say thank you for serving because
Thank you.
it was way more than money.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was also in I was also in the healthcare space at that time. Research. I was a clinical research monitor, and during the COVID, while you guys were on the front line,
Yeah.
making sure you got people, taken care of. We
Yeah.
were on the back end in the research part, working on, the vaccines.
Yeah.
So yes, I was involved in several COVID trials with some of the big farmers. So as a monitor, our job is to make sure that these drugs and medications are tried according to the FDA regulations, are conducted
Right.
according to the FDA regulations. So at that time, you know, I was also doing back end work. So, but
Right.
outside of the money, you all did a wonderful job. So thank you for serving. And
But thank you for serving
uh,
too, because we couldn't do it without, you guys research and
it was
coming
a
up with a
teamwork, right?
treatment. Yeah, it's a team. It's not
Yes.
about the front line. Granted, we were risking
Hmm.
our lives, actively risking our lives, but we needed that because at some point we needed a definitive treatment or to know something
Yes.
to help stop this. So thank you for serving too.
Well, we're just vessels being used by God. Now, there's one thing I struggle with.
Hmm.
I still need to learn. I'm still learning. I don't even know how to take compliments. It's a big struggle for me because I just feel I am a vessel being used
Yeah.
by God. So nobody owes me any compliments or, that's me. It might be something I would eventually get over or get used to and learn how to
Yeah.
handle it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so now let's go back to your business. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So my overarching goal is to put a dent in maternal death rate. It's horrible, and with the recent political changes with Roe versus Wade and the abortion changes, it's only getting worse. And there's a big fear for me for the future because of the recent political changes that we just sustained. So ideally, I would like to decrease maternal health disparities, um, help with putting out resources and putting it in front of people's face when they're going through that struggle because it's hard to look for it. But overall, I want to decrease disparities in maternal health, innovate a new way of approaching it so that we can decrease it faster and also decrease the maternal death rate.
Hmm. That's awesome. So do you do workshops right now, or are you thinking of doing workshops just to create the awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am I am doing different conferences where I'm also doing workshops. All of next year, I have quite a few conferences booked. So there I'm
Hmm.
doing workshops because it's not just for the patients themselves, but us as healthcare providers, we need to know how to approach maternal health trauma and maternal health in general. So I'm doing different workshops there, such as implementing palliative care in maternal health. That's a very underused service that we have already in hospitals that we really need to incorporate when there's a maternal trauma or when there's a patient in the hospital who is going through treatment for whatever maternal health issue that they have. We need that hand
Right.
holding and we need that case management and hand holding while outside the hospital after discharge.
Okay. That's great. Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing. Have you ever thought of writing a book to put your story in a book?
Yeah, I am in the process of transcribing my book. So I have been slowly writing it in the midst of doing all this other stuff. So hopefully I
Mm,
should be finished by the end of this year with my book and I'll start pitching it to agents and I really want it to be a big release because it's a big story and it's going to impact a lot of people. So wish me luck because
Oh
that's
yes, yes. I already know. I already know. Luck is your middle name by birth. By birth, I want you to accept it, claim it.
I appreciate it. I accept it.
Yes, yes, yes. That's your middle name by birth, by the Almighty God. Luck.
Thank you
You're a
so much.
lucky girl, lucky
Yeah.
lady. Yeah. So, are you working with anybody regarding the book, or you just for now just journaling?
Right now, I'm working on my manuscript, so I
Okay.
haven't found an agent yet. I'm working with an editor only right now, and
Okay.
yeah, we're just in the
Okay.
beginning writing phases of everything, and yeah, we're
Okay.
just trying to finalize everything that we want in it and how it'll flow, and just making sure it's just right.
No problem. I'll connect you with so many people who could, just so you can compare pricing,
Yeah, I would love that.
figure
Thank you so.
out, yeah, figure out whose spirit aligns with yours. So I know a lot of
Yeah,
them. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. And one last thing I would want to ask you to do for our listeners.
absolutely.
I always ask our guests to just give some words of encouragement. I asked you before to encourage a lady, or a lady who is going through what you've been through, but this time around it's going to be a general thing. There's so many people who life is not, or not life, they think life is not fair to them.
Mm-hmm.
For me, in the era of personal development, I know everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
But there are some people who right now they are at the lowest moment,
Yeah.
and they feel that, look, the world is just crashing on them. I want you to, for 1 minute, speak to that man or that woman. It doesn't matter. It could be relationship, not working. It could be job loss. It could be health issues. But right now they are at their lowest moment. Just imagine them, and that person is listening to us right now. Just word of encouragement for 1 minute, please.
Yeah, so I'm happy to do that. I had a very rough childhood with abuse and neglect, and I had multiple traumas since being a child, whether it was childhood, my pregnancy journey, divorce. It was just so much that I been through, and I really thought at multiple points in my life that I wouldn't survive. And I also thought that God hated me because why would He put me through this so many times? I wanted to give up. I wanted to bow out, and I wanted to sometimes just just stop moving forward. And I realized that I have a testimony and I have a journey, and that I was only picked because I'm able to sustain these traumas and I'm able to use their resilience and build their resilience to end up in a better place and to be on the other side and to be a light for other people. And I wouldn't be able to tell this story to you, and I wouldn't be able to share my resources and my experience and my compassion had I not gone through those things. I questioned it throughout the whole journey. Why me? But it wasn't until after I was on the other side, like now, that I truly understood that it had to be me. So why not me? And I'm here to tell you today that you will make it through your journey as long as you don't bow out, that you will make it through your job loss, through your pregnancy journey, through your feelings that you're insignificant or not worth it, through your losses of loved ones, through the loss of yourself. That when you get on the other side, you will see why, and you will be the person on the other side telling your story to others.
Yes, yes, that was powerful, inspirational,
Thank you.
powerful and inspirational. Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And I believe somebody out there right now has been, and you've inspired someone out there. Someone out there right now has been given a different impression of life. And I want to add this to say it doesn't matter how bad you think your situation is, you who's listening to us right now, your current situation, no matter how bad, in fact, I'm saying it right now with all confidence, no matter how bad you think your situation is, your current situation is someone else's prayer point. Believe me.
Absolutely.
Believe me. Yes, it is someone else's prayer point. So always know that you have a life here on earth. You have an assignment. Always remember that you you were the chosen one. If you understand the reproductive system, the birthing system, out of millions of sperm cells that swam towards the ovary, towards the egg, only one sperm cell was chosen out of millions to fertilize the egg. And you were that chosen sperm. No matter what you're going through, you who's listening, you were the chosen sperm out of millions. What does that tell you? It means you're special.
Hmm.
It means you have a story. It means you have an assignment. It means you were not sent into this world by accident. You were sent into this world on purpose, with a purpose, and for a purpose. So it's your duty to quickly discover what that purpose is.
Yes.
It could be through pain that you're going through right now. Yes. And in most cases, it's always through pain that we discover the powers within us. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing. We really do appreciate you. And I hope when next I invite you, you would be willing to come and talk to my audience.
Absolutely. I sure would. I
Yes.
would love to. Anytime, John, just let me know.
All right. So she is based in Georgia. Once again, she is the founder of A Light After Nine. She finally found light after nine miscarriages. A Light After Nine. So follow her on social media. Um, Her contact information is right there for all of you. Go visit her. Follow her on Instagram, A Light After Nine. Follow her on Twitter, follow her on TikTok and LinkedIn. Her website is a lightafter9.org. Go there right now if you want to, collaborate with her, if you want to refer clients to her, if you want to, seek her advice in areas of concern, feel free to reach out to her. They say whatever has a beginning always has an end. We are
Yes.
excited to share some amazing ways for every one of you to stay connected with our mission and continue to grow together. And whether through donations, inspirational resources, or becoming a part of our community, your support and engagement means the world to us. Now, here's how you can get involved with what we do. The first is you can support our mission by helping us continue to uplift lives by making a donation. Your generosity allows us to keep spreading hope and positivity. So if you feel what we're doing right now has impacted you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to visit our website, www.johnugulu.com, to make a donation. www.johnugulu.com. And secondly, if you're looking for some inspiration, you can check out our collection of inspirational books. They are designed to motivate and encourage you on your journey. You can get those books from our website. Visit johnugulu.com, click on resources, and you would find the books. Thirdly, you can tune into our latest episodes of our podcast where we share powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth. So listen now and let the words on this podcast lift your spirit. And lastly, you can become a part of our growing community where we uplift and inspire one another every day. Subscribe today with $10 and receive exclusive content, daily motivation, and access to special events. Once again, thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make a lasting impact and spread positivity in all we do. I don't know where you're listening to us from right now. You, yes, you who's listening. I don't know where, what part of the world. I know we're global. I don't know what you know about yourself. Neither do I know what the people around you know about you. But here is one thing that I, John, know about you who's listening to me right now. I know you have greatness in you. I know you are the chosen sperm. I know you are the chosen one. I know you were sent into this world on purpose, with a purpose and for a purpose. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and bye for now.